So, hi and welcome. This is Katie Connect, and in the room with me today, I have my dear friend, Angel Ferris. Welcome, Angel. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I know this is like stretching you way out of your comfort zone, so I really appreciate you being here. However, I thought you would be the awesome, like, best choice to have today because you, of all people, were one of the people that helped me in my progress towards finding kindness. So, you, of all people, understand a little bit about kindness and also the personal struggle of giving it to yourself, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, for the people that are here today, how would you like to introduce yourself?
I'd just say that we met a few years ago, and ever since then we've been on a journey. Self
Mhm.
discovery for ourselves and helping each other throughout the journey. Um, Done a lot of self work, trying to find ways to be more kind to people and to myself. That's the big struggle, finding it for ourselves. So that's my little journey there. We're trying to find it.
Yeah, awesome. And just so the listeners know the difference, I'm actually in Australia, in a small country town in Victoria, Mildura, and Angel is.
In Virginia, in a little town called Wakefield, in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, and we've
There's some
connected
stuff,
and
but
known
not
each
much.
other. I think like 3 years now, right? It's been about 3 years.
3.5 years? Yeah, 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yeah,
Almost.
amazing. And
Yeah.
yeah, and this whole process and journey has been like evolving right in front of your eyes, really. And we've been kind of working on this together. So it's very fitting that you're my first guest. Okay, so I have some questions for you. First question, most fitting question. What is kindness and how would you define it in your own words?
Kindness to me is helping others, doing things for others that I'm not required to do, not doing it for any gain, just to, see a need in somebody and help. Not because you have to, it's because it's something you want to do.
Yeah,
And
awesome. Yeah. So, is it something that we give or we receive, or both?
I think both. I think we can, we give kindness, we give to others that we see in need. And, uh, we tend to recognize it really easy when someone else gives it to us. Oh man, that was really kind of them. And I think sometimes we make so nice and kind words, but it's just like I said, it's just we don't recognize that we need it for ourselves. We can see it external a lot of times, but
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so when you think of what kindness means to you, what words or actions come to mind? I
mm,
think you've already mentioned nice.
right, nice. Yeah, that's part of it. Nice is like a polite and that type thing, but kind is actually like an action thing doing. I would say, help, care. People that that help others, to care for other people. Um, Giving would be one word. They give, compassionate. I think would be the big ones. They see a need and help out.
Yeah. Yeah, compassion is the one I use a lot of, like especially like as far as being compassionate to other people and also compassionate to ourselves. So yeah, great, thank you. So, what was the last act of kindness, or one of the last acts of kindness that you saw that happened to you or someone you witnessed, and how did it make you feel?
Good question. Let's see if I can pull one up. Good question. One that's happened recently. Let's see. I know. It just even little things like at stores, grocery stores, or you know, um, helping somebody. I've seen a few people like helping somebody reach something that they couldn't. Little small things. Um, they weren't asked. They just see a need and then go help. Somebody drop some money, that type of thing. The last thing I've seen, just people stop like on the side of the road helping somebody. Like you see a tire's out, somebody tire blew or something. Somebody pulled up behind them and helped, and they're out there changing,
Mm.
a tire or something for somebody. Uh, for me, kindness, like somebody actually waiting and holding the door open for me, because a lot of times people just let it go. And to me, that's a little bit of kindness there.
Mm.
I see people
Yeah.
do that. So
Yeah,
not
definitely.
specific instance, but I try to pick up on little pieces a day, every day,
Hmm. Hmm.
recognize
Yeah.
it in people.
Yeah. And how does those things help, like make you feel, or how do you feel as a result of those, seeing
It's
those?
it's nice to see that there are still those not type of people, but there's still those type of acts being uh, provided. Out there, people are still taking time to stop and help somebody else, and it's not all of this me society out there now. There are
Hmm.
still times where you can. It's trying to notice those times because they seem so distant and far apart, but they're really there if we just kind of keep looking for them.
Yeah. So it's that kind of hopeful idea and thought that that there could still continue kindness in the world, and gives you a little glimmer that'll
Yes,
keep going, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. So, what would happen if you committed to performing at least one act of kindness every day? Or if you, to the people that are listening here, what do you think would happen if they contributed every day to one act of kindness?
I think for me, being mindful of it would definitely help. I think it would get not even like self confidence, but I think it would help knowing that I've helped other people. And to me, kindness sometimes is doing and not even being acknowledged for it, or like
Mm-hmm.
an anonymous type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doing something for somebody without needing the recognition, without needing the thank yous, without just doing it because I want to, not for anything other than to give or help. Or
Mm.
so I think for me, it would just be um, kind of like a satisfaction knowing that I helped somebody. I feel um, I feel good knowing
Yeah.
that I helped somebody else. Or
Yeah. And so the idea of having, like, more people out there doing kind things will make the world a better place, and will experience it. And you get to, if you experience kindness or you're doing kindness, then you tend to experience it too. Mm. And
yeah,
then,
definitely.
like you mentioned also the fact that when people expect a response as far as their kindness, um, it's a different result than if they're like doing it just completely, what's the word, like altruistically, maybe. Do you think that people can? Do you believe that there are people out there that can do kind things without any want in return?
I believe there is. I believe so. I believe there's genuine people out there that just really, like I said, they might not even realize to me, like I said, little things like, waiting till somebody comes and holds the door or stopping and help somebody change a tire. To me, I see those as kind acts. Some people are doing it just, they're doing it and not even knowing that what they're doing is a kind act. They're just
Yeah.
stopping and helping in need and they do it, but I don't think it's for any. I mean, there's people I think just stop and help. Oh, no, no, don't worry about it. If you try to, give them some money for their time, for stopping and help. Oh, no, 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 that's all right. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's still out there, and I think there's people genuinely out there doing things, kind or nice things, whatever you want,
Yeah.
just for no reason, no
Yeah.
gain.
So why do you reckon that maybe some of these people are not, that why, like, we're noticing less kindness in the world in some ways? Like, there's definitely those people out there, but we've noticed like definitely a bit more of a, like you mentioned before, a me society. Um, like, what do you think is creating that?
One thing for me that I'm noticing is in the society now, it's almost a, a scared response to reach out and help people. People are scared. I think one thing is not always the safest thing is to stop and try to help somebody on the side of the road, uh, or try to give them a ride somewhere if they need it. It's not just something we can do anymore. Getting involved in a situation, you see something, you see a need, but now you might be involved in something, or that you really don't need to be a part of, that you don't want to be a part of, or it just kind of gets you in a situation that may not be to your best interest. Um, you see an accident of some sort or whatever, and you go to help because you see, and not for any reason, but you just go to help. But then there could be like medical kickback, like throw back
Mm.
at you, because you're not supposed to be really helping that kind of, or just different things like that. I think it's just a kind of a scared society. So I think, and there is a lot of this me society going around. It's all about me and what I want. And. So I think
Mm.
we are losing a little bit of that, which is great
Yeah.
that for ourselves, but thinking outward a little bit. It's not always about me. It is about
Mm.
me, but not always about me. And there's
I love
always
that.
other people out there that we need to consider. I think in a safe environment, stuff like that. Yes, we just have to be really careful about the choices we make as to situations we get ourselves in sometimes.
Yeah, I love
Because you can
that.
offend
That's
so many people. What we may think is an act of kindness, somebody else may, it might not be wanted or warranted, and they may, So we have to fear that rejection too, that they may not want our kindness too.
mm, yeah, yeah. You mentioned so many amazing things in that. That idea of like it's the selfish part of me. It's not just about me all the time, and it's not just about everybody else all the time. So finding that balance, which often people aren't necessarily good at because they've been hurt. And you also mentioned the fact of fear and how fear can be a motivator to or a suppressant in this case to stop people from doing those kind acts. um what would be your advice to somebody who has done something kind and it's ended up being like turned out not so good, or somebody's been rude as a result, or what would be your advice to those people?
I think it would just be to give that kindness to yourself and understanding that, where you giving it from, it's where it's coming from, not so much about the receiver. It's they're dealing with their own stuff, and it's not a reflection of you. You know where it came from, where it, your motives behind what you were doing, and just knowing in yourself and self awareness and stuff that it was from inside. You know,
Mm.
you did it with a clean, good heart, and not for
Mm.
any. That whether receiving it as a kind act is on them.
Mm. So well said. Well, very well said. Love that. Thank you so much. So let's see. Here's a more tricky question for you. Let's see how we go with this one. How do different religious and philosophical traditions interpret and emphasize kindness as a core value, and how does this affect the way kindness is practiced and understood? If you want me to repeat it, you may ask me to repeat it.
No, yeah, yes. One more time.
Okay. How do different religious and philosophical traditions interpret and emphasize kindness as a core value? And how does this affect the way kindness is practiced and understood?
It is a deep question.
It's a deep question.
From my understanding of it, and from my, you know, surroundings, surrounding other cultures and religions, I think it can kind of be a universal thing where everybody kind of knows, oh, that was kind, or that type thing. But I think if um, I don't want to say gender specific or that type of thing, where it's not always acceptable for women to be not kind, but to help out a man, or what I'm saying. I'm not trying to use specific But I mean,
Yeah.
that could be an issue in certain areas. Um, I'm not real sure, but I still think a kind act is still recognized by most people as just somebody's doing something nice. I
Mm.
think probably extreme cases and stuff, there might be some cultural differences or, real big pushback or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a deep question.
Yeah, it was a deep question. I love that
We
answer
could probably
too.
go into a whole hour of just that.
We could, yes, totally. We could continue to go because it's interesting that a lot of people presume that kindness is just something that everyone knows, but quite often most of the things that we know we've been taught, so it has to have been taught to us at some point. So those values, if kindness is one of your strong ones, then you've learnt it from someone or through something. So often that's through traditions or through family cycles or religion. So it's interesting that we pick up a lot of these ways that we act, and then the norm that we have can be quite cultural, depending on, like you mentioned, about how genders respond, and the stereotypical response to that, like a man opening a door for a woman is an act of kindness. Is it kind for a woman to open a door for a man? I think you'd have mixed responses to that depending on people's family cycles.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of women that don't. I mean, and I know women that don't want men opening the door for them. They want,
Yeah.
yeah, I can open a door myself. So
Yeah.
there is that line, but that is an outlier compared to the majority, but it is there. Yes.
Yes, I love that. And I'll go back to one of your answers to the other questions and reminding yourself at that particular time to be kind to yourself if you do happen to be the receiver of such rejection of your kindness, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Amazing. Okay. So here's another question for you. Now that I love these deep questions, and I'm a deep person, so we'll just keep asking deep questions.
I know. I'm preparing myself.
So, what is the relationship between empathy and kindness? Does one necessarily lead to the other, or can they exist independently?
Mm. That is a good question too. I, let me see what my thought is on that. I think there can be kind people that are not empathetic. They may be more sympathetic, where they can put themselves in that place in their place and not really have to take it on type thing. It's more like, oh man, I've been like, that's happened to me. I could have used some help. I don't think I don't think you have to be empathetic to be kind. I think there's a lot of that. I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't think you have to be empathetic. I think it's more of a sympathetic response. Like, oh man, I've been in that place, or
Mm.
I could have used some help when that happened to me, type thing.
Mm.
More.
Mm.
But then you have the empathetic people that go, oh man, and it feel the same way they felt. Could just remember
Yeah.
that feeling when that happened to you. I think is more the response that you get when with that empathetic feeling. But I think
Yeah.
you can have both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting kind of response. You've brought up another kind of question for me here in relation to that, in the fact that quite often acts of kindness can be received as people thinking that they know what's going on, but actually not understanding what's going on at all. So they might say, here, I'll give you a hug, but that person is very far from wanting a hug at that particular time. And so their act of
Right.
kindness in giving it is not necessarily like not received, but that person is literally a standoffish person or has their issues of themselves. It's probably not a very good example, but I hope you understand what I'm saying here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting. Okay, so let me ask one more question. Shall I go for a tricky one or an easy one?
Let's do easy to start. If that's the last one, let's do a little bit easy.
Um, okay, let's go with an easy one. How does practicing self-kindness and self-compassion contribute to overall well-being?
Thought that was going to be an easy question.
Yeah, true.
The self, the self when you heard it, the self word that makes it a little harder to do. how would it? I don't know. Finding it for ourselves is a little bit tougher. I'm still working on that. What was the actual question? What was that?
Uh, how does practicing self-kindness and self-compassion contribute to overall well-being?
See, I heard the self at the beginning and lost the whole question the
Oh,
first time.
yes.
So my mind started thinking. I think being kinder to ourselves is it takes that. It's almost like a when I think of that, I think of a weight being lifted off. It's like giving myself a break. Don't be so tough on yourself. That type of thing. And that would be kind to myself. Um, that understanding, giving the understanding and the kindness and um, things like that to others seems a lot easier. But then when I think about doing it for myself, I feel that weight lifted.
Hmm.
And I just think it just feels lighter if I can get into that practice of doing it. Um, I think, and it makes us more kind to other people if we can do it for ourselves. We have to be able to do it for ourselves and to really know how it feels and to be able to give it out too. I think,
Mm.
which isn't always easy for ourselves. Like I said, we see the need more in others. Even seeing the need for it, it's easier to see in others
Mm.
than
Yeah.
need it for ourselves. It's right being able to recognize that we have the need for somebody just to be kind to us, or it's what's needed in the moment instead of the beating ourselves up,
Yes,
which we
yes,
normally
which we quite often all do. I love that.
do.
And the there was a word you said that now I've lost it. Um, the like I was thinking as far as well-being goes, being able to, oh yes, that's it. When you said that the weight was lifted from you, when you were able to be kind to yourself, you felt like the weight was lifted off you. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means to you?
I think it's giving ourselves what we need. So to me, it's like uh, giving myself the just not the self talk, like being polite to myself, like nice, but kind in a deeper sense is a deeper sense to me, like giving myself the understanding, giving myself the what I need in the moment. It's kind of like um, giving myself a break. To me, it's like
Mm.
I see. Don't worry about it. It just happened, or give yourself a hug. You know, you just really need a hug right now, or you just really need to go take a nap. That's kind. Giving yourself
Mm.
what you need and
Mm.
recognizing the need and being able to like give yourself permission to go walk on the beach by yourself, or things like that. I mean, it's just little things like that, recognizing that you do have a need and just being able to go, okay, yeah, you can do this. It's okay. And that's kind of like to me, it's just like a burden lifted or something. I don't know. It's just like I would help a friend or something like that. I would kind of do the same thing. But it just feels lighter if I can
I
do that
love
for
that.
myself instead of waiting with all the you should have done this and you should have done this and why you do this type thing. That puts that weight on you and kind of just like, oh, it's okay. You did that.
Mm. Mm. I love that. So that, and I love that word that you said, like giving or the few words that you said about giving yourself permission to do certain things. I mean, it's quite often we're doing things for other people in hope and expectation that we'll get it back. But if we're able to give it to ourselves, how much quicker that is, and how much easier it is if we don't have to rely on others, and we're able to do it to ourselves. So if we can give ourselves permission to do it for ourselves, I mean, yeah, like you said, that burdens gets lightened, and it just makes us feel more in control, I guess, more able to manage ourselves. Yeah, love that so much.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to add? I did ask, I'm not sure if you had a chance to, but I did ask if you had a favorite kindness quote. Did you by any chance collect one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I did. There was one. I'm trying to remember it now. I may not get it exactly right, but if possible, be kind. It's always possible. It was Dalai Lama.
Yes. And then we'll have to put that one in the chat down the bottom in the comments or something like that. But yeah, yes. So it's always possible. I love that. It's such a great quote. So thank you so much for coming, Angel. It's been amazing to be here with you today. I really appreciate that very much. And to all the listeners here, thank you for joining us, and join us next time for the next special guest. Take care for now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.